Today we're going to talk about comparing numbers. We're also going to talk about adding two numbers, adding to the value. So we're going to start with just looking at a number in picture form. Let's look at this number. Okay. We know the number we're showing is 4. Now, what I want to talk about is what happens to how we write the number and to the value of the number if we add on 10. So our number is 4. We're going to add 10. I'm putting the 10 on the left side because I know that whenever I'm talking about value, that the most powerful values, the strongest values, are on the left, and the weakest values move this way. Okay. So I've got my 10 in the right spot. I added a 10 to the 4. So now my number has a 10 in it. It still has the 4, but it has a 10 as well. So my new number is 14. Okay, now I've got 14. And I'm going to add another 10 to it. When I add another 10, I'm adding to the most powerful place value. Now that I have two 10s, I still have my 4 1s. I know that I need to change the left side of my number because that's where the most powerful place value is. I need to change to tell how many 10s I have. I have 2 10s, so my number changes to 24. Now what happens if I add this to my number? I added another more powerful value to my number. We know that this box represents 100. So I added 100 to my 24. I had 24 before. Now I added 100, a more powerful value, a stronger value. So I know I need to add this digit over on this side because that's where my most powerful are. Now my number is 124. I could keep adding another 10. How would I write that number now? What did I add? I added a 10. So I only need to change the part of the number that changed. My 100 stayed the same. My 4 1s stayed the same. The only part that changed was the 10s. I know my most powerful digit is telling me how many hundreds we have. I didn't change those, so that number doesn't need to change. My next digit, 2, is telling me how many 10s. Does it match? 2 10s. How many 10s do I really have? 1, 2, 3. They don't match. I need to change that number. I don't have 2 10s anymore. I have 3 10s. I did not change anything with my 1, so that number stays the same. 4 1s, 4 1s. It's really important to be able to think about what happens when we add a 1, when we add a 10, add 100, or take those off. Being able to change your number. I'm going to add a 1 this time. I did not change my 100, so this number stays the same. There's still just one square, 100. I did not add any 10s. I still have 1, 2, 3 10s. It still matches. I did change my 1s. I had 4 1s, but I added 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4 to make it a total of 5. I've got 5 1s and it does not match my number. I need to change this digit. Now my number matches. We need to be able to understand how to compare numbers as well. So if I have this number on the board, if I take off my 100, I need to change my number. I don't have that 100 anymore, so I need to take that off. Now my number matches my picture, 35. If I put up another number, let's see if we can compare their value. When we count this number out, we know it's 35, 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. And we can count to figure out what the value of this group is. 10, 20, 30, 31. When we look at this, we can try to figure out which number is greater, bigger, more, and which number is less, fewer, not as many. We need to start when we're comparing values of a number with the most powerful place value. We know the most powerful place value always starts on the left. Anytime we have numbers, the most powerful part of the number is going to be on the left. Just like when we read left to right. When we're figuring out place value, our powerful place value goes left to right. So we know that we need to look at the left number first on this side and the left number first on this side. These numbers are the same, 3, 3. So my picture should also show that they're the same. 3 tens, 3 tens. Since those numbers are the same, I need to look at the next place value, the next digit, to decide if the whole number is equal to, less than, or greater than the other number. I'm going to move to the other number and take a peek. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1. When I compare this number and this number, I can see that this one is bigger. Since my other place value was the same, I know that this whole number is bigger, greater than this number. So I need to draw my alligator and have him eat that greater number. Sometimes comparing place value gets a little trickier when it looks like this. If I'm going to compare these two values, or even just write their number, I need to start on that left side, the more powerful place value. In these numbers, neither one of them have 100. This is our 100. There's no 100 here, and there's no 100 here. So my most powerful place value is not 100. My most powerful place value is the tens. Okay? When I just look with my eyes at these, I can see that this one only has 2 of these, and this one has more. But that's on the right side of my picture. And we talked about how that is not the most powerful place value, so we cannot start on the right side. Just like we don't read from right to left, we also don't figure out place value or count from right to left. We have to start on the left. If I start on the left and look at my tens, I can start to figure out which number might be greater. 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. I know that 4 tens is the same as 40. So I'm going to write how many tens here. And I'm actually going to go over to the other number and mark how many tens this one has. 1, 2, 3. 3 tens. Already I can tell which number is greater. I don't even have to keep going with the ones because I know that these are more powerful. If one of these has more tens than the other number, then I know that this whole number is going to be greater. I'm going to go ahead and finish with my ones just to make sure I understand it all the way. I have only 2 ones over here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones over here. Even though there are more ones on this problem than on this one, I know that this number is bigger because it has more tens, which are the powerful place value, the strongest, the one that makes it the most. So this number is 42, and this number is 36. I know that 42 is greater than 36. The alligator's going to eat 42.